You know those moments when you're doing what you love in your business? Maybe it's standing on stage or creating content. Whatever it is, you're totally immersed and time just seems to slip by. This is called the flow state.
At Speaker Flow, we're obsessed with how to get you there more often. Each week, we're joined by a new expert where we share stories, strategies, and systems to help craft a business you love. Welcome to Technically Speaking.
We did it. Lauren, welcome back to Technically Speaking. We are so excited to have you on, and this is the second time. So, I mean, it's going to be a blast.
A second
You ready
date.
for it?
I'm so excited.
I know, a second date. Let's go. We're not talking about a third date, two guys. We're talking about a third one. So things are moving quick over here. Yeah.
Yep. We have good conversations with you every time we talk to you.
So for sure.
Yeah. In fact, it was good to see you just not that long ago.
I know. At the CAPS convention, that was fun. It's always fun.
Yes,
it certainly was.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. I find that heights change from what I expect when we're going from virtual to in-person things, you know, like people are either way shorter or way taller than I had ever imagined.
It's usually shorter for me. At least I am shorter.
Yeah,
I'm shorter than I imagine. I don't know whether that.
Sure. For sure.
We had this guy on our team a little while back, and we went like 6 months or something without meeting him in person. And then we finally ran a team retreat and got together, and we like saw him at the airport for the first time, and he towered over Taylor and I, and it was shocking. I literally could never look at the guy the same way again. So,
well, for sure. I don't. It was one of those moments too. Like I was like, "Is this the person?" You know, like, is this actually like I wasn't convinced like that was him. So
yep, it's true.
That's when you start carrying phone books with you and strap them to your feet, so you're much bigger.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
it's
much
true.
Bigger.
I've been doing that for a long time, actually. So
some moonwalkers. Okay, well, this is going to be a loaded episode, you guys, talking about lead generation and websites and all that fun stuff. But as we roll, before we dive in, we like to do a little bit of research, and I don't know, pull out some personal things that are going on to just start the conversation. So we actually got to talking about this before we started, but you are currently in the process of going through a massive renovation on your house.
I am.
What has that process been like? How are you managing all the things with that?
I'll tell you, it's quite interesting being surrounded by studs. No, seriously.
Not the wood studs.
I can imagine.
A little bit of both, actually. A little bit of both. No, it's our kitchen was completely gutted. Our master bathroom was gutted, and then parts of the kitchen, parts of the bedroom, and the other. It was really nasty moving because we've actually moved into my brother's basement. And both my husband and I work from home, and he works shift work. So where my desk is, if he were to walk out of the bedroom, he would be right in camera angle. So he's like, "Honey, please don't walk around in your underwear, please." Just There's a whole lot of wrong that can happen there. But no, the renovations are going well. We hope to be back in April, the end of April.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
On what is right.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Has that been disruptive to like your work? I feel like being displaced from my office would really throw me off.
I know, yeah.
My brain is still trying to catch up. Honestly, I feel like I've lost several IQ points and I left them in my office at home. But it's and of course our dog, we would take our dog out and put him outside when he needed to go. Well, now we don't have outside privileges. So it's the leash and the walk and the come back. And I was just in the middle of something, but okay, let's go for a walk. It's living on my brother's timeline. I am much more of a night owl than I am an early bird, but I have to get up and move my car out of his driveway by 7 a.m. Just silly little disrupting things, right?
Little things,
tiny little, like, who cares? But it takes up space in your head.
Yeah, it's true. Wow. Well, hang in there. We believe in you, and it's going to be fantastic on the outset, I'm sure.
It will. It will. It's going to be wonderful. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, good. We're excited to have you here. So as Taylor and I were getting ready for today's episode, we were thinking like, all right, what's the most valuable thing we can discuss with this genius at the table here today? And in our first episode, we talked a lot about websites, and we've worked with lots of the same clients on different collaborative efforts over the years, and so we know that you're certainly an expert in this area. And even outside of like the building of a website, we know that how a website actually needs to function to truly make an impact for this type of business, right? A thought leadership business, which, everybody says, like, I think as an entrepreneur, like, yeah, but my business is different. And I know we hear that a lot speaking business. And I think that that's true and not true to some degree, right? There's definitely nuance in any space. And so that nuance. And so we figured let's drill down into that a little bit and get into one of the specific things that lots of people talk about. Everybody knows that they need. Taylor and I are convinced everybody does well. And we know you do, which is lead magnets. So we're hoping to pick your brain about lead magnets today. Are you game?
Absolutely. I'm in.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to start by like getting on the same page at least. Nobody better to do that than you. But can you like give us and our audience members an idea of what a lead magnet even is in the first place?
Well, let's start with what it isn't. It isn't join my newsletter, and it
Mm.
isn't download my white paper. A lead magnet is a conversation starter. It is a way that you offer. I call this problem solution problem. So it's a way for you to highlight an issue that your potential client is having, solve it quickly and give them really high value, and then lead them, point out the next step in the process. It's not a, oh, goody, I'm going to get them on my list and then never talk to them again. And it's also, oh, goody, they're going to sign up for they're going to sign up for something. I'll give them one thing, then they're on my newsletter for life. It's about building a conversation. It is a people hate the word sales funnel, but it is a sales funnel. It is understanding what you can help them with really quickly now, and then lead them gently, solving issue, building trust, building credibility. It's not a salesy, hey, you bought this, so buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. It's a gentle leading and a relationship trust building exercise. Is that a long
Oh,
answer to a short question?
That was a great
brilliant.
answer.
No, I
Yes.
love that. Yes,
Preach.
of course, right. What yeah, why do we have the wrong I say we. Generally speaking, a lot of people, it's the download white paper, subscribe to my newsletter, get this once, but where did it all go wrong is my question. Like why is there such a dissonance in
Oh, that's a great
people?
question.
It is it because they're uncomfortable with it? Like yeah, I'm just at a loss
I
for
think
why
they
that
just
isn't the
haven't thought it
natural idea.
through. Honestly, I
Mm,
think they just haven't thought it through. I mean, 10 years ago, we were so excited that we got to get somebody's email. And
Yeah,
and
true.
10 years
Yeah.
ago, people were happy to get your newsletter because hey, something cool, something for free. But the competition for our target audience's email address has gotten so huge, and as consumers our bandwidth has gotten so small that you really have to provide something of huge value in order to get that email address. You have to work a lot harder for it, and you have to consistently cultivate that relationship. So I think
yeah.
honestly, I think it was easy when you could just use your free Mailchimp account and download this, and there it was on your website, and you didn't think about it again. Now we have to
Yeah.
think about what the next step is.
Yeah, well, that's a brilliant answer. I'd never even thought of it that way, but you're right. I mean, everywhere you go, email, email, email. Now, phone number, phone number, phone number. It's like, oh man, what are you going to dedicate your bandwidth to? And so it has to be super valuable for that to even because the person has to feel like, oh yeah, this is totally worth my email address. I'm happy to do this, and I'm excited to hear more to help me solve my problem, rather than oh crap, I got to give an email address for this thing. Like that's not the tone you want to have.
No,
So
Well, I
absolutely.
think something that is worth like noting too about this, and I'd love to hear if you agree, Lauren, but like it's not even just about the value, but also about the relevancy. Like we're
true.
so overloaded all the time. And just because you have something that you've created that's built off of your decades of expertise, it may very well be extremely valuable. But if we're not good at pairing that value with the context of what the person's in, if it's not relevant to them, then we have to tune it out as consumers because there's already too much of it, you
Yeah.
know?
And that's why we start with formulating the right question, right? And
Mhm.
it's not, do you want this thing? It's and often we forget that can I just share a quick story? So
Yeah, please.
I have a product that I sell that is an emerging speaker website package. So I'm selling a packaged product, a packaged website to brand new speakers. And I know that their biggest problem is that they have no clarity. 15 years has taught me that they have no idea what they're doing yet. In fact, most of them shouldn't necessarily be into the marketing space. But that's not if I tell them right up front that they need clarity, they don't know they need it. You don't know what you don't know. So the lead magnet that I created for them was the number one roadblock that stops emerging speakers from becoming successful. The content, number one, is helping them figure out if they have clarity, then a master class into how to get clarity, and then I lead them into a paid program. But if I had said get clarity, nobody cares because they don't know that's the issue. Sometimes it's not the problem, it's the symptom of the problem or the fear that feeds into it that is the right question. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah. So
I
you're
think it's
striking them at
brilliant.
the psychological and emotional level, right? And what a better way to build trust. I mean, you identify you can somebody's going to go through that lead magnet and you are truly acting like a guide for them, like, oh my god, I didn't even know that was my problem. Like, it's great she even knew about it before I knew about it, and now she's providing ways for me to solve that problem. Like, at that point, like, where else is there to go, like, to solve your problem when you have that level of trust
Yeah.
behind someone?
So and I mean, I'm selling a physical product, but as a thought leader, the same type of idea would be, say you're a thought leader on leadership and culture, right? It's not download my culture audit necessarily first, although that's part of it. The question is, um, I'm trying to make sure I don't use client words because I've built several of these for
Sure.
different types. But you know, what is the gossip around around the water cooler costing your company? And then it leads into culture, right? If that's what your clients have identified most, and you'd look at your testimonials, you'd look at your case studies, what questions are most often asked by your ideal clients, and build the answer, and you know that it's landed with several. That's where you start.
So, okay, so this actually brings up a really interesting
Yeah.
challenge, actually, that we were wanting to discuss with you today, which is as it relates to the what's the right question. Um, so many people that we've worked with or that we've seen out there marketing themselves in the past have built their lead magnets and even just like their general marketing messaging, I think, to some degree, not for an economic decision maker of their thought leadership, but instead somebody that may be in the audience for a
Audience.
keynote speaker or something, right? So the question that we have for you, the challenge that we're hoping maybe you can help us think through is like, how do you ensure that the lead magnet that you're creating, the question that you're answering for somebody, is targeting the person that can buy your stuff? Uh, e- because what they want, their objectives may be different than what the content that you're sharing would be from the stage, let's say. Does that question make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think I understand what you're asking, and you'll let me know.
We're going to find out.
So, I mean, as thought leaders, we're selling to key decision makers that could be CEOs, CFOs, HR, education, meeting planners, um, and a meeting planner. I've seen one of the things that one mistake that I've seen a lot is, I sell to meeting planners, so the opt-in is for the meeting planner. How to build a better how to build a better meeting. But if that's not your expertise, they know how to do that. They're looking on behalf of their clients. So don't forget, even if you're being hired by a meeting planner, they're solving a problem for their client. Don't forget that just because you're being hired by a meeting planner, you're still serving their client. The number one question they're asking is, do you fit with my mandate for this meeting? So how do I decide how I speak to the decision maker? I understand that even if I'm being hired by an HR, like the HR manager, there's education coordinators, they're still looking for something on behalf of their boss. They still have a problem that they are aware of within the company that they are trying to solve. So, no matter who is physically buying, it is focusing on the problem that you are solving rather than the individual who is giving you the money. Does that make sense?
Preaching. Yes, totally. The number of
I love it.
websites where I see the newsletter, the PDF, and the here's how to plan an event. It's like, well, obviously that's not the problem. Like we're having an event to help solve some problems, and they have a core set of problems in mind. That is not how do I organize an event or how do I choose the right speakers for an event. Like
Yeah.
and it's not your expertise anyway, so you're diluting your messaging. Like are you an expert in planning meetings, or are you an expert in solving culture and leadership problems? Like I don't know, because now I'm
Yeah.
have this thing in front of me that's distracting me from the main thing you do. So
And
yeah,
no
anyway,
one's
I
gonna
get
sign up for
light
that.
up about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so I think when we when people hear lead magnet, they think PDF. It seems, or Word document, which I think is a fine medium, right?
Mhm.
But the world is changing, right? There are many options we have available to us now. Um, are PDFs enough? Is it dependent on the question that we're asking? Are there more interactive ways to give people something that's more valuable than just more content they have to consume? Like, what are some of the most performant lead magnet mechanisms you've experienced so far? And let's put this in like maybe the last year or so, just because
Yeah. Yeah.
technology.
Whatever. Um,
Who cares
honestly,
about the past?
Not even relevant anymore.
It's not even relevant.
I think one of the best performing lead magnets out there right now is no matter what you want to call it, it's the same thing: the quiz, the audit, the
Assessment.
questionnaire, the assessment, whatever you want to call it. It's still, if you're B2B, it's usually an audit or an assessment. If you're B2C, it's a quiz. Same thing, same mechanism, same tools. But again, what is the right, and we usually start from the question, um like, again, what is the question that we want to ask, then we skip directly to the outcomes, and we decide where we want people to land, and then we build the middle. So it's a convoluted process. But when you build an assessment well, number one, you're able to give your client the answers that they need. I mean, what I think I know I've got an issue, but what is my issue? What things do I need to focus on to fix this issue? But you're also asking those questions, and if you've got the right software, um, it's recording the prospect's answers so that when you then get on a discovery call with them, you already know what the issues are. So an audit is a customer service tool in their eyes, but also a sales tool in yours. So I love audits that can highlight, oh my gosh, yes, that was the issue. And then again, one of the things I love is that depending on their answers, and depending on what CRM you're using, you can then craft completely different autoresponders and answers based on their questions. Depending on like how much work you want to put into it, that's up to you. But if you're closing a 10, 15, $50,000 gig, you're going to put some work into making sure they get exactly what they need. So again, long
Heck yeah.
answer, audit.
Great answer. We just employed one of those here at Speakerflow, and it's been amazingly effective. And for all the reasons that you just described. Not only that, but like I think like if you think of the context of where other places assessments are used are, like I think about school, right?
Mhm.
And the nature of being given an assessment is that there's somebody that's authoritative that has all the information available to not only contextualize the questions, but also like make useful recommendations and suggestions based off of the answer. So it's like not only is it a way to create value and generate leads, but it's also like a positioning lead magnet to some degree because you're demonstrating like I'm an authority in this thing that I'm assessing you on,
Yeah.
right?
I love to add a page at the end of the assessments, and it says, "I hope you've enjoyed this. What are you looking for? Do you just want some free resources? Absolutely. Um, are you interested in signing up for something else? Okay. Are you looking to hire a speaker in the next 6 weeks?" And the people who answer that they're looking to hire a speaker, they're tagged and automatically texted or emailed you that you've got a hot lead that you need to follow up with immediately. So you can, funnel them and give them the level of service that they need in accordance to what it is they're looking to buy from you. That's something that I haven't
Beauty.
seen done a lot, and I think that's a really key piece.
Yeah. Well, it just moves them one step closer, for those that are the most ready after you've built that trust. I
Mhm.
mean, it's only fair you give them a mechanism to work with you if they're ready for it, right? Like, I mean, otherwise you're just doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
So why not give them those options to, engage with you? I think, yeah, and I think, part of this too, I can understand this fear is inherently thought leaders start their businesses to solve problems and to create impact, and they might not be as maybe marketing minded as others. I think the vast majority is not as, and so but what they want is to give, which is a beautiful thing. I want to give you my newsletter, I want to give you this white paper, I don't want to ask anything about it. Like, there's a balancing act though that still needs to happen, and to shift that mindset from just giving, which is great, but also like it's okay to ask if you're hiring a speaker in the next 6 weeks. You're giving them a path to go down if they're ready for it. And so I think there's a little bit of a fear to make decisions like that, which is why we might not see it as often. But it's okay. You can make those asks.
Well, but you're not asking. The audit is asking.
Right.
You don't have to look at them and
Mm,
say,
yeah, kind of
are you
removes
ready to
you.
hire me?" No,
Sure.
this
It's
is
just part of the process,
yeah,
Tari. This is how it works.
exactly. And if you are, then how can you, again, like you said, how can you not give them the customer service level that they're asking for? They're
Right.
asking for this. How can you not give it to them? So, yeah.
It's an
It's good
important
is
mindset
the
to have.
answer. Yeah.
Yep,
Do
that's
that.
right. Do that.
So I'm curious from like a promotional standpoint, right? Like, I think one of the other components here that doesn't get talked about enough as it relates to a lead magnet is a lead magnet is only as useful to you as you can get people in front of it, right? And so I have questions just about like the suggestions you would give somebody about promoting their lead magnet, period. But one thing in particular that I'd be interested to hear you touch on as it relates to this is should people be marketing okay, should people be directing traffic to their website and then have their website be funneling them, so to speak, into the lead magnet? Or should people be skipping the middleman, so to speak, and then just directing traffic directly to the lead magnet out of the gate?
I have a specific website page for each lead magnet that I have. And I use that page when I'm promoting the lead magnet. I also
Nice.
have it as a section on my website when someone lands on my website without the lead magnet, that they can get to it there. But I think, and I love that you asked this question because this is one of, again, when I have a few bugaboos, but this is another one of them is you don't just set it on your website and wait, right? It should be part of your social media rotation. It should be part of your speaking engagements. You should be giving out your lead magnet as part. It should be something that you mention in a podcast. It should be, it should be everywhere. Your lead magnet should be a standalone lead page that you can use in multiple places. It should be in your email signature. It should be part of um, at the bottom of your LinkedIn profile. It should be everywhere. And if it's a standalone page, then you can make that happen.
Yeah. Okay. So, just an addendum to this, a question that's coming to mind is should you have okay, should isn't not the word I want to use here. Is it beneficial to have one keystone lead magnet that you really focus on promoting, or is it equally beneficial to have multiple lead magnets? You see where I'm going? Because I think like I see the trend of like creation without enough focus on one thing and promoting that. So when is it beneficial? Let me ask that question. Rather than having one lead magnet, to have multiple.
I think you should have a lead magnet for every main income generator that you have. You should have a lead
Mm,
magnet for your keynote, and you should have a lead magnet for your secondary keynote. And they can be similar but different. But um, I have, I currently have four. They're not all running at the same time. But when I'm doing the speaking circuit and I'm talking about lead magnets, I have a lead magnet on lead magnets. So that's what I share. And when I'm focusing on next gen websites and accessibility audits, I have a lead magnet on that. So that's what I share. So it's not necessarily that I have them all active and all over the website because that's confusion
mm,
and a confused mind
confusing,
won't
yeah.
buy. But I have several in my back pocket that I can pull out when the situation best presents itself.
Beautiful. Man, that's exactly it. That's it right
Best
there.
answer we could have gotten here.
Best answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
for
doubt.
sure. True expert
Yeah,
here.
time and
Yep.
place.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep. Okay, so here's a kicker. So we're getting close to the top. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this. So let's say we do it perfectly. We've answered the question, great. We've got the outcome. We've got the quiz in place. On the after the quiz, they have the three options. Like get the free resources, talk to me about X, Y, and Z. Choose your path type of situation. But let's assume, right, a small percentage of people are going to hit that. Yeah, I want to hire a speaker in the next 6 weeks, right? Let's call it at best 5%. Okay. So now what happens, what needs to happen in your opinion after that is submitted for the other 95% who are not quite hot yet? What would you recommend it be rather than the standard one and done approach?
I don't do a one and done. So, and it again, this flow is gonna depend on your audience. So, I'm gonna share a sample flow. So, most of my lead magnets have anywhere from 5 to 7 follow up emails. So it's, here's your free thing. Then, um, did you download your free thing? Oh, so here's your free thing, and don't unsubscribe because I've got another really great high value thing for you that's coming in your next email. Here's the free thing I promised. Credibility, right? I'm so glad you're enjoying your free thing. By the way, David said that I was the best at this with a testimonial and some credibility pieces. I get you. I understand. This is probably, and talk to the elephant in the room. Talk to probably the thing that their biggest objection is going to be, and hit it straight on and answer it. Then, this is probably the last time I'm going to talk to you. And then this sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, depending on the client. That final email that says, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna assume that since you downloaded this, this was something you were interested in, and I hope that I've really solved that problem. But I'm not going to keep hammering you because that's not good customer service. So, with your permission, I'm going to just funnel you into my newsletter list where I share all kinds of great information on. And by the way, when they opted in, you got permission to do that. You're not just throwing them in there because you can. I like to ask, is there a reason you didn't book a call? It would really help me in my marketing if I understood why I didn't resonate. I get maybe one or two out of 10 people answer the question. That is number one, they're continuing to open the email, so that's great for your stats and your ego. But, they'll if they're interested enough to give you the why, they are still a hot lead. Continue to love on them, continue to give them value.